What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. Mistfall Hunter is officially live. It is on Game Pass day one, and the very first question every hunter faces is the same. Which of the 6 classes do you actually pick? And here's the thing, a lot of players have not caught yet. The developers shipped a wave of balance changes with the launch build straight from their own dev notes, and it genuinely shook up the class rankings from the beta. So a lot of the advice floating around right now is already outdated. In this guide, we are breaking down all 6 classes, what they actually do, who each one is for, and my honest picks for every kind of player, solo runners, squads, and complete beginners, so you can drop into River Edge with zero regrets. Let us get into it. Before the picks, 30 seconds on how classes actually work in this game, because it changes the math. Every class carries 2 different weapon stances at once, and you can swap between them mid-fight. So each class is really 2 playstyles in one kit. Even better, your abilities are tied to your weapons, not to your character. And on top of that, sit talent trees and gem affixes for the deeper build crafting. What that means practically is that experimenting is cheap. Picking a class here is not a marriage, it is a starting point, so do not agonize over this choice. Just pick the one that matches your instincts and start extracting. One more thing worth knowing, everything here plays both solo and in 3-player squads, and some classes swing wildly in value between those 2 modes. So I will flag that as we go. With that said, let us meet all 6. First up, the Mercenary, and if this is your first extraction game, stop scrolling. This is your class. It runs sword and shield in one stance, of blocks, parries, and shield bashes, and a big 2-handed hammer in the other, charge swings, stuns, and knockdowns, and it is the poster child for swapping stances mid-fight, turtle up when things go wrong, then switch to the hammer when it is time to punish. The launch build made it even friendlier, with a wider perfect parry window, and stronger damage against monsters straight from the dev notes. The trade-off is real, a lower damage ceiling than the flashier classes, and that hammer is slow enough that a good ranged player will kite you all day, which is why the competitive lists keep it mid-tier. But heavy armor and a forgiving health pool buy you the one thing money cannot: time to learn the loop, the maps, and the extraction timing. Basically, every guide agrees this is the safest first pick in the game. Next, the Blackarrow, the bow class, and the game's precision damage king. One spec is all about fully drawn burst shots and mobility, with skills like Sky Piercer and Rapid Arrows for deleting targets in open arenas. The other turns you into a status warfare machine, bleed, poison, exhaustion, paralysis, and traps, whittling people down before they ever reach you. The kit also comes with short stealth cloaks through Shadow Step and a tracking sense that flags danger before it finds you, which is why this class kept showing up on the best solo lists. You can scout, pick your fights, and vanish from the ones you do not want. The weaknesses are exactly what you would guess: nearly helpless at point-blank range, squishy, and those full draw windups are punishable. It also caught real nerfs in the launch build, shorter paralysis, and less mobility out of stealth, so the free wins from the beta are gone. Still, if you love landing clean shots from range and you want a class that stays strong in both solo runs and squad fights, this remains one of the safest picks in Mistfall Hunter, and it anchors the current meta trio for a reason. Now, the Sorcerer, the class the beta previews flat out called overpowered, and honestly, launch did not change that story much. You get 2 very different flavors. The elemental spec chains fire, ice, and thunder together, alternating elements for amplified combo damage with deep freeze to lock enemies in place, and classics like Firebolt, Thunderstrike, and Meteor Charm doing the heavy lifting. The Stardust spec is the burst option, big cosmic damage with tricks that let certain spells skip their cast times entirely. Between the 2, this class owns the highest area damage in the game, melts bosses from safe range, and can wipe an entire squad that clumps up. And the launch build actually smoothed it out further: faster casts when your energy runs dry, quicker freezes, a bigger thunder hitbox. The cost is the lowest health pool in the game. Tight corridors are scary, and a good assassin is your personal horror movie. But if you want the biggest numbers on screen right now, this is arguably the best overall class at launch. Then there is the Shadowstrix, the stealth assassin, and the class that sat on top of the kill leaderboards during the beta. The dagger stance is the classic assassin opener: sneak in, land a critical strike out of stealth, drop a smoke bomb, and melt away to reset with talents that let you re-stealth as mid-fight. The dual blade stance is your sustained plan for when the surprise is spent, spinning slashes and blade dances that keep the pressure on. The kit even drains stamina and cuts enemy healing, which quietly wins long duels. Now, the honest part, the launch build deliberately took its most infamous trick out of the game: those endless crowd control chains. You cannot stack stuns on an already stunned target anymore, straight from the dev notes. So this is now a true skill class: low defense, low health, and if your opener whiffs, you are usually dead, especially against 3 players focusing you down. but in experienced hands, it is still the best duelist in Mistfall Hunter, full stop. The Seer is the most misunderstood class in the game because it is really two classes wearing one robe. The support spec is the game's only true healer, deploying construct runes across the battlefield, a healing rune for sustain, a shelter rune for shields, a blinding rune that denies vision, and the crown jewel Death Ward, which flat out prevents an ally's death for a window, arguably the strongest defensive tool in the entire game. In a 3-player squad, this spec is close to mandatory, and the launch build buffed it with faster rune activation. The other spec, the mace-wielding battlecaster, is the plot twist of this whole guide because it was quietly the most dominant solo class of the beta, shapeshifting for mobility, cursing targets, even shutting down enemy healing, and the launch build hit it with the heaviest nerfs on the list: slower shapeshift, weaker curses, shorter range. So here is the simple read. Pick Seer to carry your squad, not to solo carry yourself. Those days are over. And finally, the Withered Knight, my favorite story in this whole launch. The lore alone is great. These are the exiled Rose Knights of Ganaria, stripped of their titles and cast out with nothing but their faith. And in the beta, the class honestly played like it's slow, clunky, weak parry windows, rated near the bottom of every list. Then launch day arrived and everything changed. The dev notes extended the parry counter window, fixed the collision on Thorn Guide, the grapple that yanks enemies out of formation and into your team's kill zone, and added an entirely new second weapon path, Polearm Shield, which even carries a unique teammate rescue mechanic. The core loop is genuinely unlike anything else in the game. Your combo stack withering sigils on enemies, and then you detonate them for guaranteed burst damage. It takes patience to master, but the early launch guides now call it the most balanced all-around class in the game, from punching bag to top pick in a single update. So let us put it all on one board. Best overall right now, the Sorcerer. The damage is simply that good. Best for beginners, the Mercenary, no contest. For solo runs, the buffed Withered Knight and the Blackarrow are your safest bets now that the mace Seer got tamed. For squads, a support Seer is the closest thing this game has to a mandatory pick, and if you want the full meta trio, the early list love, it is Blackarrow, Stardust Sorcerer, and support Seer. And for pure dueling, the Shadowstrix remains king. 2 honest caveats before you lock anything in. The early tier lists genuinely disagree with each other, and with the developers clearly willing to swing the balance bat, this picture will keep moving. And remember what we said up top, abilities live on your weapons, not your character. So trying a second class is cheap, and with the game sitting on Game Pass, the cost of experimenting is basically just your time. The best class is still the one that fits how you actually play. And that is your class guide for Mistfall Hunter. We have got more guides on the way for this one, from the hunting system to builds, so subscribe and turn on notifications so you do not miss them. Now tell me down in the comments, which class are you maining first, and did the launch changes flip your pick like they flipped the meta? Thank you all so much for watching. Good hunting out there, and I will see you in the next one.